We are live. What's up, everybody? Thank you for checking in. Shout out to everybody who already is in the chat. Gata, we appreciate the message. Good luck with your business page. Thanks for stopping through. Ariana, we love you, and we're happy that you love that song. Listen, everybody share this video. We're going to do a quick one tonight. We're going to just have a little conversation, talk about some things, and then we're going to get out of here. You're watching Young Lion TV.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Young lion, everywhere I look, they dying. Everywhere I look, they dying. Young lion, everywhere I look, they dying. Everywhere I look, they dying. Young lion, won't you get up and stop fighting? Everywhere I look, they're hiding.
That's right. We are live Tuesday night. We're here in our studio, True Sound Studios. We're getting it together.
Young Lions.
Young Lions
are coming out the cage.
Young Lions are coming, man.
Coming out the cage.
Unchained. Like Django.
Django Unchained.
Uncaged.
I don't know about Django, but
Hey, man.
they're
Django.
coming.
Django, he did his thing. Everybody who's watching, we appreciate you. Make sure you share this video, please. Facebook is doing a lot. All these social media platforms are just like trying to suppress anything that
I just saw Adam Fields shared, Jen shared.
Yo, thank you guys.
Thank you
Everybody
guys.
who shows up every week and who shares, we really love you guys.
Yes.
We really appreciate you guys. There's a lot of times where we're just like, we just going to keep going. Even if it's one person watching, like, we're just going to keep doing this because it's not
It's
about
gonna break
that.
eventually. It's,
Yeah.
you know, just like anything, it's about faith, and
Yeah.
you continue in it, and eventually it's got to break. The truth has to shine.
Right, exactly. And it's about
Breaking.
It's about being consistent.
Breaking.
right. Exactly. It's about being consistent, and it's about having that faith to just keep going no matter what and keep pushing through.
Yeah.
That's what being a young lion is, right?
Yeah, consistency.
But real quick, the introductions. I got Moan with me to my left. We got Jake here and Rachel sitting in at the fourth seat this evening, so she's going to be producing and talking, multitasking today.
Mm-hmm.
But women are better at that, right?
She kicked Jake.
That's
she
what we
kicked
heard.
Jake out of
I
his.
don't know
She was like, Jake, you're out of your normal seat.
Well, that's because we don't have long enough cables.
I didn't kick him out, but he yelled at me anyway.
It was a joke. You can have my seat. I don't care.
And then, of course, producing, switching the cameras, doing all the audio this evening is John. He doesn't have a camera today.
It wasn't working.
I think he
Camera
did it on
wasn't
purpose.
Yo, push your volume up a little bit because you're low. You already talk low. People want to hear
Is it
you.
good now?
It's better, but good is subjective.
How about now?
No.
No, you just talk quiet. But yeah. So everybody's in the building. We're here. We're gonna just talk about a couple of things that we had seen earlier. But you know, it's about to be Christmas time though.
Christmas
Yeah.
time.
Moan just
I just
had
wanna-
his.
yeah.
Yo, we gotta give
I
a
was just
shout
gonna
out to
say,
Moan.
I want to say happy
Everyone
birthday.
say a happy birthday to Simone, please, in the chat.
He's turning 18.
Simone just turned
23 years old.
18 going on 40. What was I just saw that movie 13 going on 30 for the first time ever. And it was weird. But Moan's 18 going
All
on
of
40.
those
movie is
movies
that?
are kind of
13
weird.
going on?
Jennifer Garner.
Jennifer
in that,
Garner.
Right?
Yeah.
Oh, the one where she.
She's like a little girl and she wants to be big and she snaps her fingers and the next day she's in a grown woman's body.
Yeah. It was supposed to be like the female version of Big, the Tom Hanks movie.
All those movies are
yeah.
low key weird. If
Yeah.
you
Yeah,
really
aren't they
watch them, though,
low
and think-
key
'cause, like,
pedo?
you know
Well,
what
they
I'm
got
saying?
around it. I will say that because at first I was like, what?
Uh-oh.
Like,
Yeah.
she's 13 years old, but she's with some 30-year-old guy. But
It's her friend.
they all grew up.
Yeah.
So she woke up and everyone that she knew was 30 something.
That's right. Okay.
Yeah. So
All right.
it wasn't like, you know.
I forgot that. I thought that it was like the same as Big.
Yeah.
Yeah, but happy birthday, Moan. 40 years old.
Yeah. Moan is 40.
40.
The big 4.
40 is a great number.
It is, man.
4.
4 is the open door, right?
4 is an open door.
Yeah.
40 has to do with cleansing.
Yeah,
you
it's
know,
open,
and
man. We should do that in honor
You
of
don't
Moan.
have to.
Funny thing about that though is Mark met Simone, and he thought that Simone was younger than me.
Yo, everyone thinks that. Everyone, when they find out Moan's age, is like, no way, man. Like, I remember all the soccer guys were like, I thought you were 18. Yeah, a bunch of people in the chat.
No beard.
Bunch of people in the chat shouting you out, brother.
Appreciate it, guys.
Barbara said happy birthday. Gator said great movie. It was a fun, cute movie.
Speaking of
great is enough.
Speaking of movies, there's
What?
a movie that Jamie didn't know. What was it called?
Oh,
I even watched that movie.
yeah. Somehow the trailer, like this old ass trailer for Overboard, came on, and I was like, "What is this?" And Liz was like, "You never heard of this movie?" I was like, "No, I've never heard of this movie in my life. I've never watched it." And she was like, "Oh, you're crazy." Like, she was like, "Ask your friends right now and see if any of them knows what this movie is. I bet you they all know what it is." And so I was like, "No, they don't." So I texted everybody, and they all knew what it was. I felt dumb as hell.
I don't know what it is. I've never
Some
seen
Kurt
it.
Russell movie
They
from the
remade it
80s.
too.
Okay.
And that's why
With Goldie.
No, matter of fact, that's what it was. The remake was on TV, and she was trying to explain to
They
me where
remade
that
it?
remake
Yeah.
was from.
When they remake?
Like last year.
What?
Yeah.
She was trying to explain to me where the remake
Yeah,
came from.
and that's what's. Leslie was watching it, and when you said it, I said, "Oh, they're probably watching this," and
that's
why-
what it was.
That's
Yes.
funny.
And I was like, I never heard of this movie. So apparently, like Kurt Russell, and the storyline is like Kurt Russell and who is it? Goldie Hawn.
Goldie Hawn.
Yeah.
She's like some rich,
Bougie.
person, and
Bougie.
and
She
she
goes
treats him
over-
like trash. And then she's on some boat trip where she falls overboard, and then she loses her memory. But in the process of that, he convinces her that he's her husband.
Yeah,
and he
it's like the
Which
weirdest
is weird.
movie.
but he
when you
does
really
it
think
just to
about it.
torture her because he's like a low life, like he lives like, he's a working man, so he forces her to like live his life.
Okay.
But they ended
But
up
then they end up, it's like
loving-
they fall in love.
Right.
the kids end up loving her.
Yeah.
they think that the kids. Well, she thinks the kids are hers. Like that's how bad it is.
Oh, okay. She really
Yo,
don't
that's
know.
messed up,
Yeah,
man.
It is
don't
kind of
know.
messed up.
That's messed up. Gina Millsy said, "Happy birthday to Moon."
Thank you, Gina.
Hey, mom. Mom said, "Hey guys, I don't see movies, but I saw that one." My mom never sees movies, so if she saw it, I feel bad. I don't know how I missed that one.
I haven't seen that old one.
I don't know how you, dude. It came on to so much
But
when we were kids.
I was serious. Like, I think that was like the part of the life where I was obsessed with video games and
Maybe.
playing trumpet. So I was like in my room.
I said he was too busy burning stuff and sending toys to China.
Africa, man.
Africa, my
Send
bad.
no toys to China. Mess with them. I don't mess with them over there. China don't deserve my toys. You got too many damn kids over there. Africa, I send my toys to. What's up, Emma? But yeah, Moan's turned 40, so man, it's an honor to have known you for more than half your life, bro.
Dang.
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you've been
10th grade, right?
10th grade. 10th grade is when
how
we
old
met.
are you?
10th grade is when we met.
15?
I'm right behind you.
15.
I was 16 when I met you.
I met you when
Okay,
I was
so I was
6.
16 too.
Yeah. Actually, I was 15. I wasn't 16 yet because I remember when, because we never really met in school, but I always see you in class. We would see each other.
Yeah.
And I always tell the story, like the first time me and Moan ever talked is I was going through the drive-thru with my mom at KFC and he worked there. And my mom ordered some food or whatever for all of us. And so Moon looks in the car and he's like, "Yo, don't you go to Williamstown?" And I was like, "Yeah." And he was like, "What's up, man?" And so he gave us all this free food. And
And he had a friend for
That's
life.
so,
That was that.
and this is how long ago it was. You know what he gave me? I still remember. Chicken Little sandwiches.
Oh man.
You remember them Chicken Little
I
sandwiches?
don't know how he remembered. I remember giving him extra
Something,
stuff,
yeah.
but this guy.
He gave us Chicken
Made an
Little
impression.
sandwiches.
You were like,
Is that why
then-
you worked there?
Huh?
Is that
And
why-
yeah, and then I ended up working there the next year. I worked there. I started working there my junior year. And we worked together at the KFC. I remember a lot of nights cleaning up flour on that floor. And remember the one time the dude forgot to plug the grease thing at the bottom and all the
Yeah,
grease
and all the grease
spilled all over the
spilled.
floor.
oh my God.
That's
just
the
throw
worst.
Throw the whole KFC out and just leave.
We were squeegeeing grease out the back door for hours.
Terrible.
Yeah.
That's
I don't know about that life.
Yeah, Jake always had bougie jobs. He never worked that fast food life, man. Man, we had some stories from that KFC too, man. It was
Some stories that we don't want to
we
tell
shall
on
not
this.
mention. My mom said she loves you.
I love you too.
But yeah, so man, 40 years old, bro.
Dang.
That's how long I've known you, man. It's crazy.
It's crazy too. I was telling him it's 40, right? 40 is the 13th letter in the Hebrew.
Mhm.
And he was born on the 13th.
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
Interesting.
That's a synchronicity that
Yeah.
locks in. There's an alignment going on with you right now. It's crazy.
Transition.
That's cool. That's cool, man. And we're coming up on Christmas, and there's supposed to be ain't there supposed to be some star that doesn't show up? But
Yeah,
every
I think it's 600 years.
600 years or
I don't know,
something.
Hundreds of years.
Yeah, let me see if I can find something on that. But
Find
yeah,
it.
Talk about it real quick.
Duck, duck, go.
I mean, I don't know much about it. I know right now we're smack dab in the middle of Hanukkah. I can talk about that.
Go ahead.
A lot about that. So,
Happy Hanukkah to all our Jewish friends.
Yeah,
What's up,
man.
Carter
Hanukkah.
Fox? All the foxes.
but I mean, it's kind of significant for Christians too. Most Christians don't really know about it, but we're in the middle of it. It's the Festival of Lights, but it's actually the Festival of Dedication, and it's about cleansing, cleansing the temple, and that's a whole crazy story. I don't know if you guys really know about Hanukkah. I talked about it at church.
I
but-
watched it, so
Yeah,
I saw what
it's
you
kinda-
and it was
it's-
interesting. That history
and the history behind
Yeah.
it. And I was going quick through the
Yeah.
history, but it goes up to Jesus, because it's Second Temple, and it's a few hundred years before Jesus when this happens.
Wow, real quick, Jennifer Gandy. Hey guys, I miss y'all so much. Man, it's been so
Wow.
long. Remember her? Look at Mo's face.
Jennifer Gandy.
Yeah, you'll remember if you
I'm
see her
sorry.
picture. You'll remember if you see the picture. I'm gonna click on her page for you real quick. Oh, it won't let me.
Don't be mad at me.
It won't let me.
You got to go to the reply, and then you can click on
Oh,
it.
okay.
And then there's a picture of a tree.
Yeah, but I'm sure.
She used to work in the mall, though.
Oh.
Yeah, I knew as
See,
soon as
I
you
don't
saw
know.
her face. She has been following us since the CD days, boy,
Yeah.
in the malls.
Yeah.
Didn't she cook for us one time?
Yeah, she did.
Yeah.
She did.
Yeah, she's been a diehard for years. But we haven't seen you in a while.
Didn't she work with Eileen?
Eileen and Cherie from
They worked at
Burlington?
the same place.
Didn't they work?
I don't think they worked in the same, not the same store, different stores, same place.
Ah,
Yeah. They might have known each other.
Well, it's good to see you. Thank you for stopping in.
yeah, appreciate.
Make sure you guys share this video. And also, I just want to say, if you want to, check out the music that we have out, you can go to our page, yourtime.com, and you can also get merch there, and you can become a Patreon member on our Patreon, which is the Patreon for this podcast, Young Lion TV. So it's patreon.com/Young Lion TV. If you want to support what we're doing, listen, I'm just going to be honest. Musicians ain't working right now. There is no gigs.
They
There's
just canceled our last gig.
We missed out on at least 20 shows this year.
Yeah.
And so if anybody wants to support, anybody wants to give to the cause, you can go to our Patreon and you can either donate or you can subscribe there and become a member. And we're gonna have some perks and stuff for people that do stuff like that. If it's something that you want to do, just letting you know that option is there. But yeah, go back to what you were saying. You were talking about
What was I saying?
Hanukkah.
I think I was done with that.
I got I think your star.
Yeah.
Spectacularly Rare Christmas Star.
Yep.
You got the same article over
Yeah.
there? But yeah, so
What you got?
apparently Jupiter and Saturn are going to align, which is going to create a bright focal star, kind of a big light point, and it'll look like a double planet. These two planets aligned in the solar system a few weeks ago, but on December 21st, the solstice, they'll appear aligned to us on Earth, so we'll actually be able to see it.
On the solstice too. That's crazy.
And then
And
there's-
this article says it hasn't been seen for nearly 800 years.
Yeah, it said it's thought by some, including legendary German astronomer, that the Star of Bethlehem in the story of the Magi could have been a rare triple conjunction of Jupiter, Saturn, and Venus. So this is just Jupiter and Saturn this go rounds, but same kind of deal. So they line up perfectly.
That's
and
crazy,
they look crazy.
yo.
There's a lot of like things lining up. Something that I found out. Something about Hanukkah. So you have, it's the only festival in the Jewish calendar that like goes from one month to the other.
Uh-huh.
And the interesting thing is like we're actually it's the 20. Well, it's nighttime, so technically it's the first of Kislev tonight. I mean the first of Tevet. So it goes from Kislev, which is 1 month, to Tevet, which is the other month. And it's interesting because Kislev means like the throne, his throne, and it has to do with hope, and the throne is in the heart, our heart. So, and then Tevet means what is good. It speaks of good, and it's interesting because Jesus died and rose on the 8th day. So he died and then rose on the 8th day. Sorry, and it's Hanukkah is 8 days,
Right.
but it goes 5 days and then 3 days. So he died
Right.
for 3 days,
Right, right.
and rose on the 3rd day, or rose on the 8th day. So it like perfectly lines
Yeah,
up
it lines up right with
with
that.
that, which is interesting.
That is interesting.
It says here for telescope viewers, December 21st, each planet, several of their largest moons will be visible in the same field. That's pretty amazing. I think Carter has a telescope. Might have to be like, yo, give me a telescope, yo.
Yo,
Or camera.
film something. Yeah, put
Right.
a camera on that thing.
And it says a great conjunction won't happen like this until March 15th, 2080.
Tiffany said, "Hey guys, what's up? Love you. Merry Christmas. We love
Hey,
you
Tiffany.
too. Thanks
Merry
for thanks for
Christmas.
checking in. Merry Christmas to you and your family." Halima Lamia said, "40 is special all the way around."
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. I'm right
Yeah.
behind you, bro.
Yes, you are.
I'm right behind you. I'm coming up strong.
I'm right in front of you.
But yeah, it's a crazy time right now.
Yeah.
Just everything
Everything that's happening.
You
and-
feel it in the air. Like
Yeah.
it's crazy that Christmas is 10 days away.
Mm-hmm.
I like it. Feels like it's creeping up on. Like I don't feel like I'm ready.
Yeah.
I have not done any shopping.
Yeah.
No. I haven't. My wife has.
What's up, Copes? What's going on, man?
Yo,
Yeah, but it's I'm excited for the new year. I'm excited for Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
You know, just to
Excited. Yeah. It's just gonna. It's funny that it's the 21st. I'm just thinking about that. And 20, if we're going into 2021.
yeah,
you know,
yeah.
Those numbers. I'm a numbers guy, so.
Yeah, it's all lining up.
But speaking of numbers and music, we were talking about musicians not no work.
Oh yeah, music's not working right now.
No, I was thinking about something as I was doing a teaching, a vocal lesson today.
Halima said Hanukkah Samich. I don't know what that means.
I don't know. What that
Hanukkah
means.
Samich.
I know it's a
Maybe I'm saying it wrong. Sameach.
I don't know. Samich.
It
Samek.
doesn't feel like Christmas at all this year. That's Gina. Yeah, there's a
Feels
lot
like
of
Christmas to me.
It does, but I was talking about this with Copes in the studio last night, like, because he was saying that he feels like when he was younger, like Christmas time felt like Christmas time, and as he like little by little, it's feeling like less and less like that, you know.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that has to do with getting old. Like sometimes I think about that too, but then not really, because I remember being older and still feeling that.
Yeah.
I think it's just because everything's been so commercialized and everything's been so driven by like, what are you buying, money, you know, the whole marketing aspect of it, and going out and shopping in malls, and like now with COVID, you know, it's even crazier, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, and people are afraid to leave. People are afraid to go to see their family.
Yeah,
And-
Yeah.
that's
All these things
that's
are
another
key.
thing. Like people aren't allowed to see their family in certain states.
Yeah. Which is a shame.
Yeah,
Yeah, but on the music side, so we know because we're musicians that
Mhm.
there's 7 notes in a key, right? And
Right.
and just thinking like, you know, I don't know if people know like the key of David.
Well, yeah, there's 7 notes in a. I guess you could say.
Yeah,
in a
because
key.
it's the 8th when you
Yeah.
go.
Yeah.
It's still re mi fa sol
It
la
goes
ti,
back.
do.
Right, right.
It goes back,
Right.
and then that's a new
Mhm.
way around. You're going up higher, but I mean, in terms of a key, there's 7 notes. It's and you play within that.
Right,
That's like a tonal center too.
right.
That you're playing within
And there's 12 notes total, which is
to do a song.
another
Yeah,
thing.
12 notes
Yeah.
total. But I was just thinking, there's 12 notes to. I mean, there's 7 notes to a key, and 7 has to do like with perfection.
Mhm.
You know, 7 has to do with not just perfection, but perfecting. And the reason why I started thinking of it because I was looking up Solomon, and I know a lot of people know that Solomon asked for wisdom,
Right.
but it really was he didn't ask for wisdom; he asked for understanding, an understanding heart,
Right.
or really, it's a hearing heart,
Right.
You know, and it
To
makes
be able to discern, you were telling me.
Right.
But when you say he really asked for it, you mean like if you go back and look at the
The
original,
Hebrew.
the Hebrew
Yeah.
translation, right?
He asked for like a hearing heart, the
Right.
word Shema heart.
Right.
And
I just
then-
wanted to make that distinction so
Yeah,
people don't
yeah,
be
yeah.
like, "Oh, hey, where are you getting that from?" You know.
Yeah. So like you said, so that he can discern good
Mhm.
from evil, and even in that, so that he can discern between good and evil,
Right.
and
So
to
that
do-
he could be a good leader, basically. So that he could judge rightly.
right.
Yeah.
So that's actually like knowing justice, right?
Mhm.
And when you look at music, like, because I'm dealing with somebody who's learning how to hear the actual tonal center,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And like, okay, are we minor scale or major scale?
Mhm.
Like hearing the difference between it, right? They both have 7 notes, but it's about hearing what makes
There's only one note that changes.
and what makes it what it is.
Right.
It's the space between.
Right. Right.
And literally, what understanding means is the space between.
Right.
So, literally, like that word, it's from the root, which means the space between or between. So it just was interesting because to know, like a key, whether it's minor, major,
Mhm.
you know, even you can break it down to like modes.
Mhm.
Like modally, you have to be able to hear these things, right?
Right.
And the more you do it, the more you know it, the more you become familiar with
Right.
it. So
and
you're
then
li-
you understand the feeling behind it.
Exactly.
And then you don't need to be so analytical with it. It just becomes ingrained in you.
right.
Right.
And that's like kind of like what God does with us. And number 7 is it speaks about the Sabbath, and that's the day of rest. So it's like us resting from our own work. And what I know from teaching people a lot of times is that every time somebody is trying to tell me, like, if they're not honest and they're trying to like show me that they know when they really don't, and I know that they don't know, then there's always a disconnect,
Right.
you know, and they can't really figure it out, because you got to humble yourself and be vulnerable,
Right.
and then you can start to
Right.
learn,
Right.
right? So it's literally
You spend a lot of time trying to just break down that wall first,
Right.
before there can be any growth.
right,
It's first I gotta strip away your want to prove yourself to me
mm-hmm.
before we can even get anywhere.
Yeah. And when you're in that mode, you're thinking before you even hear.
Right.
So you're not really listening, you know, so you can't shema, like you can't have a listening, because that word shema doesn't just mean to have a hearing heart. It means to have a listening to obey heart.
Right.
You know what I mean? So like you're open to it. You're not hiding, trying to cover up your flaws, but you're actually being vulnerable and like seeking and recognizing, I can't do this myself,
Right.
type thing. Then you can become perfected, you know, and as you practice through it and you're led through it, now you're able to discern. So like people who are musicians and trained musicians, like we know, like when we hear, if we hear a song, we can figure out the chord probably figure out the key in like what, a few seconds.
Yeah.
It doesn't take long because you're already trained to know,
Right.
you know, and you become familiar with it. And even if you don't know the key, you know all the you know every single note within that key.
Mm-hmm.
If you hear the song, you know you know how to sing within that
Right.
key. So you know the
You know the
expression.
scale. You know the tonal center.
You know the tonal center.
Right.
And it's kind of like with God, like if we seek him, we'll know the tone of his heart, the expression of his
Right.
heart, the tone of his heart, because we become perfected in him.
And then you
You
can
know.
just flow in that instead of turning it into some analytical
Right.
thing.
Analytical thing, but it's
Right.
more like now I can sing a song, and as musicians, this is what happens. Now you can sing a song, and you're not thinking about it, but it's flowing from your heart, and like it says in the Bible, like out of the mouth, the heart speaks. So if we're focused on if we're focused on what we feel, and it's connected to God because we've practiced in becoming familiar with him, now we're singing his song.
right, right.
You know what I mean? And that's cool. We're singing
Yeah.
his song. You know, we're familiar with him. He's perfecting us. And that's all.
I think
in
that
music.
we've been tapping into that with a lot of our new stuff.
Yeah.
A couple comments I want to get to real quick. Gina said, "I think it's because we really can't go shopping the way we did prior years." She's talking about like Christmas not feeling the same. And then she said, "We miss seeing you play. We miss playing. We haven't done a show in almost a whole year."
You can still go shopping, right?
Yeah, you can.
Stores are open.
I guess like she's saying like not like you used to, like beating people up in the stores and stuff. Can't touch anybody. Halima said happy holidays to all. Same to you. Ariana said happy holidays everyone. Same to you, Ariana. We miss you, girl.
Happy holidays.
She said happy birthday again, Moon. I
you.
wish everyone a happy holiday and prosperous new year. And then Saker Alatrack said, guys, the greatest celebration will be for all humanity to be saved from this evil COVID. I know it's not the music season, but keeping you presence online is really important with positive thought and ideas. Keeping your presence, I guess he meant with positive thoughts and ideas and make your voice heard. Hey, that's what we're trying to do. You know, we're just trying to like give people some truth and some honesty. Mom said it feels like Christmas to me. And Gina said, I'm old, so I have to be careful. Yeah. I mean, listen,
You're not that old.
Older.
Giuliani got over it in like 2 days. But they say he got some special medicine. Yeah, he old.
Trump was good in a few days.
Yeah.
You
But again, it's like speaking back to what we were saying, if we don't, it's harder to understand what's going on in this world and what's happening if we don't know what God is, who God is.
Right.
And if we're not like humbling ourselves, you know, and trying to figure it out, you know, and just speaking stuff because we're scared, because, you know, we're angry,
Right.
because we want to act like we got it figured out, you know what I
Right.
mean? But really, if we humble ourselves, we can actually tap into what's going on right now and find out that it's actually God is loving on us, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think that's key. And if we can't see that, like, that's where we need to humble ourselves.
Yeah, I think this is like really a time where God is showing us like that we need him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because there's nothing is easy anymore.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And really to understand like what Christianity has become
Yeah.
in terms of what it should be,
Right.
you know, what a believer in God should be.
Right. What the church should be.
Yeah, right.
Because a lot of that has been totally diluted in the wrong way. And we've just been okay with that for so long.
What prayer should be. We were
Right.
talking about that,
Yeah,
you know.
absolutely.
'Cause that's what it all becomes diluted. And then it's just like, oh, yeah, go to church.
Yeah.
Pray.
Right.
You know, just pray about it, you know. So sorry, I'm going to pray for you. And it's like, means nothing. Like, thank you.
Yeah. Tiffany said, happy birthday, Moon.
Thank you. A lot of love.
How you feel, man, being 40? Like,
The
the
same.
same.
That's how I felt when I turned 30.
Yeah, yeah.
I was like, okay.
That's funny. Like all you guys turned 30 at the same time. Like you, John, you, Carter, Kyle's right behind you guys, and then we're all hitting 40, you know, at the same time. It's funny.
Yeah.
I feel the same. My body don't.
It's almost like a year. I mean, a 10-year difference between like all of us.
Yeah.
Almost. Well, definitely between y'all.
I feel little differences from playing soccer though, dude. Like,
Yeah.
I noticed like after games, my joints, and I think it has to do with my diet too, because I've been eating terrible. So I know like
When I
eating
was
sugar
eating-
and carbs and stuff, the inflammation is real. Like,
Yeah.
These past couple of months when I was eating terrible, that's when all that back pain started setting
Yeah,
in real
yeah,
bad.
yeah.
I haven't had none of that crap
Yeah.
all week. Like, I'm good. No
Yeah.
pain.
And what did you change up?
With what I'm eating?
Yeah, yeah.
Like, everything. Like, the pastas. I just watch pasta videos
Best.
every day. I'm dead serious. I sit and watch, like, a pasta recipe every day. I'm like, I still love you. Sorry.
I'll be back one
I'll be
day.
back on Christmas Day. No, but I was doing vegan keto for a couple of days.
Okay.
Like really restrictive.
Vegan keto.
Yeah. But like that's hard without a supplement. So there's a couple of supplements online that like fill in all the things that you can't get because you can only get so much protein and so
Right.
much fat from plants.
And like B12, like you can't get
Right.
that.
That's how you know. You know, vegans don't hate me. That's how you. That's how you know it ain't right.
flawed.
Right.
It's flawed.
But then after like 4 or 5 days, my brain was like, turkey? Chicken,
Yeah, yeah.
salmon,
Right,
turkey,
right.
and I was like, maybe this means that I'm ready for some meat. And then
Yeah.
I like had some fish, so I've been basically just really healthy. But like, it feels good, like eating just like once or twice a day and eating good things
Yeah,
that I'm
right.
like full before I'm even all the way through the meal. But it's just like spinach, mushrooms, mixed greens,
Yeah,
fish.
yeah.
That's it. I'm like,
Sounds so healthy.
this is amazing. Like,
I'll be joining you soon on that train.
You
I'm
do
getting-
feel good when you eat like that.
You do, man. You feel better. Everything.
I
about it.
have not been eating like that.
Halima said, "What is an appropriate greeting for Hanukkah?" I guess that's what Hanukkah Samich is. Happy Hanukkah, or people say Chag Samich, Happy Holiday. Okay, I
Well,
didn't know that.
I know that that word Samich or Samek is really, that's actually a letter too.
Is it?
It's the 15th letter,
Oh, okay. What does it look like?
like a circle.
Oh, okay.
It means to be surrounded, that's actually the number of Solomon.
Hmm.
Like it's almost like a surrounded in protection, you know,
Hmm.
kind of like that.
The opposite of the Ouroboros.
Yeah. Yeah.
But what were we talking about? Oh, diets. Yeah,
Diets.
I got to get serious. Coming this new year, man. I'm like,
Dude,
I'm getting. Remember when
I
we were?
already started, but
Yeah, but remember when we were like so strict on keto,
yeah,
like and weight just started falling off.
yeah.
it's cool to see. Like, I haven't exercised like not a day, and it's cool to see like a lot of changes.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, like just in a short amount of time with no exercise. That's pretty like Moon was telling me a couple weeks ago. He was like, "You can exercise all you want, but it's about that diet."
Yeah.
Like,
It's true.
It truly
It's
is.
true. If you work out, you can work out all you want, and you might maintain and
Right.
stay the same. But yeah, you ain't gonna lose weight unless you change.
I mean,
your
you'll
diet.
definitely lose more weight when you diet and exercise.
Yes.
but
And see, what I'm gonna do is the keto, the intermittent fasting, and the working out
yeah,
at the same time. Still playing
That
soccer.
works the best.
Yeah,
yeah. I can't eat. I got an injury. I haven't been able to play this whole
I know, man.
season.
They were asking me like, "What's up with your brother, man?"
Yeah, I can't. My ankle. It
And
was
then-
hurt today.
I wanna-
And then this is the funny thing. So Chris is like, "Oh, your brother," because we had our last game on Sunday,
Yeah.
so we were like hanging out after the game. And he was like, "Your brother has been playing pickup I see him on there all the time talking about like he's playing pickup on Saturday and stuff." I was like, "What? What are you talking about?" I was like, "Nah, he's injured, man." And then I'm like, "You're looking at the wrong Jake. You know the Asian guy, Jake."
No, I have.
There's an Asian guy, Jake.
You went a
go
couple times,
yeah.
but like he thought you were playing all the time because the dude Jake Lang
Oh,
is
okay.
always on there like, yeah, I'm playing. You know, he's
okay.
been playing like
Yeah, yeah.
Wednesday, Saturday, Sunday. You know what I mean? So he thought you were just like playing over there and not wanting to play for the team.
right.
And I was like, trust me, if anybody would be wanting to play, it's Jake.
Yeah, so that's been hard.
Yeah.
Not being able to play. But gotta make some changes.
Yeah.
I want to start playing again.
They always ask me like, what's up with y'all?
You guys still play on Sunday?
Well, I've been playing with the team on Sunday, but coming up, the season's over now until the spring. So, yeah, we'll be out there on Sunday.
Yeah, I want to
Yeah.
play. I've been in the gym though. I play with the kids all the time.
Oh yeah,
It's
that's
fun.
true.
I love-
Coaching.
I love it, man.
Yeah. How was coaching with Nana and Stan?
Not they're such a big help, man.
Yeah.
Just imagine having I had 11 kids on my team, right?
Yeah.
Just from 8 to 10 years old.
Yeah.
That energy and they're all over the
Yeah.
place. It was hard for me to
Keep
keep
up with all of
them,
them, yeah.
focused. So I needed help. I kept on saying like, yo, y'all want to help? I know y'all ain't have no time, or y'all too far. But Stan and Nana was right there, so
Yeah.
I'm like, yo, come. And then I'm like, yo, I'm gonna get Caleb on the team.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
that
was the incentive,
That kind of got them to help. But it was cool though, man. It was cool. We took a team that was, they weren't the fastest, the best.
They were the
skilled.
underdogs, man.
We were
and
the
y'all made
underdogs,
them-
but we ended up
Yeah.
we ended up getting third place.
That's what's up, man.
Yeah.
Halima said, "Wow, that's an awesome, great cleanse." Talking about you doing your thing.
Yeah, don't be mad at me like they mad at Lizzo.
No, that is something that people need to stop with. Like losing weight is important.
It is.
Losing weight is healthy.
Yeah.
You know
But
what I mean?
again,
Like there can be an obsession that goes too far, but
Everybody's mad because they want to feel okay with where they're at. They,
Yeah.
they want to lie to
Nothing.
themselves,
Yeah.
and it goes back to, I don't know if you want to play that video, but
yeah. But I will. But first, I want to I want to address something with Moan about that little bone that we have to pick with him. Well, not we, but there's a couple people that didn't get invited to your birthday brunch.
I had nothing to do with that.
Yeah,
They
that's
like,
messed up.
They're like, yo, how come we didn't get no invitation?
She said that she told you. She put it on you.
Bro, listen, I will show you all the text messages. She never once told me to invite
some
anybody.
bad communication going on there.
I had
right.
I had nothing to do with it. I found out when
I spilled the beans.
when the conversation
Yeah,
between
yeah.
y'all two.
Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
like, I didn't know.
Yeah, but it was cool. They had a
Yeah.
little brunch for Moan on Sunday, but it ended up it was just me. Well, I got there late, but it was Stan and Nana.
Yeah,
Your coach, they had a little coach party. The coaches,
the coaches.
and then I came.
I wasn't
with
going to
Liz.
invite myself.
Yeah,
Y'all
So-
don't ever need an invitation.
Well, when
To-
it's at somebody else's house,
it was
Yeah.
at Nana's
He's not
house, so
just
that's
coming.
like
Well, that's nah.
yeah, but you don't know.
but still,
maybe
like,
he don't.
That's
want,
not to you.
Yeah,
Like-
maybe he don't want everybody at his house. Like-
Right, it is COVID. And,
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't know what's going on. So,
Yeah. So it made
but
it.
I had church. So
Yeah.
I had church too.
Yeah, they were both at church. But it was fun though.
Yeah, it was cool.
Watch the Giants get beat.
Watch Hurts
Eagles win.
How the hell did the Eagles get a win
against
the
Saints.
the
Saints.
10-2 Saints.
They've been playing so terrible. Oh, because they didn't play
Wins.
the Winster.
The defense came to play though.
And then they came to.
I mean,
to
they
get
made
destroyed,
points.
They
too.
made some stops.
They scored points
and they
too.
got 6 injuries.
Yeah. And
One play after another.
John told me that Miles Sanders was trash all season, and now all of a
All of
sudden,
a sudden, this man.
Yeah, he's stiffing
What is
arm.
that?
Malcolm Jenkins.
Malcolm Jenkins.
Yeah, remember Malcolm Jenkins used to be on the Eagles, so
And he was talking trash.
Miles Sanders had like one of the longest rushing touchdowns in Eagles history. Like I think it was like top 3 or something.
I'm not sure.
But during the run, he stiff arms Malcolm Jenkins right in the face and like gets into
Gets
the
a
end zone.
touchdown off.
Yeah,
wow.
yeah, but yeah.
Now my face is Jake's face usually.
Like his face right now. Wow.
I'm like, do.
All right, so let's go to the video that Jake was talking about. I think you got it, or I'll pull it up. I think I got it.
What
right here.
video am I talking
Yeah,
about?
which one?
Didn't you say you wanted to play the video?
I was talking about the video you showed us
Oh.
earlier, but
You talking about the
but
Hotep Jesus
you
video?
can show whatever video you want.
Okay. No, if that's the one you're talking about, let's play that one. You talking
Yes.
about the Hotep Jesus video?
Yeah,
What's the crying
it
face?
sounds funny when you say it.
Hotep Jesus?
Yeah.
Well, for those that don't know, Hotep Jesus is he's a YouTuber. He's he's a tech guy. So he made a bunch of money in tech, and he's been like in media for a while. He used to be in the music industry, rapper, and then he started doing like YouTube commentary on like black stuff, black issues, you know. But he's more conservative thinking, you know. But
Right.
I don't know if y'all remember like when the whole Hotep thing started taking
Off.
Taken
a couple
off,
years ago,
yeah.
right? Like,
and it became like a pejorative towards black dudes that were like conscious, or black dudes that didn't, black dudes that would tell like people
dude
like,
with the big words out here. I gotta look
I
up
don't
Jamie
even know
the verse
what-
sometimes. I'm like,
Be
and
honest.
he uses words that I like, and I do this too sometimes. It's like, you know, like I know what it means from the rest of the sentence, but if you ask me to define it, like just out, if somebody was like, "What's pejorative mean?" I'd be
so
like,
it's like it's a word that you use to insult someone.
Right.
Okay, so like you would say like if there's a black conscious dude talking, you'd be like, "Oh, what you some kind of
Hotep?" Right.
Yeah. So someone he
a
said
disparaging or belittling word
Yeah.
or
I know.
expression.
right.
I know nothing.
Got it.
So he said someone on Twitter was like, "Oh, what you think you some kind of Hotep Jesus?"
Okay.
And so then he just took that name and was like,
That's
"Yeah,
funny. That's
me.
funny.
Yeah, I'm gonna brand that, and that's me." So he does a lot of commentary on like what's going on. So he was in this video. He's talking about like a lot of the arguments and debates he gets in with a lot of these like far left people, you know. And he talks about Saul Alinsky and the tactics that he wrote about in his book, which is what they teach
Now,
them to use.
who is that?
Saul
Just to give
Saul
a-
Alinsky, we talked about him on the podcast
Yeah.
before. He was the guy who basically was the mentor for Hillary Clinton. She met him while she was in college.
in the 60s.
In
he
the
was
60s,
pretty
yeah.
big.
She praised him, but he's the one that was. What was the quote? He wrote a book, and in the foreword of the book, he quoted some like KKK or something. He's like a very controversial guy. I know he like
I know. Yeah,
he's very about communism. He's very much about like
he's very much about what is it? Crime syndicates.
yeah.
Or,
He was
or-
tied to like the mob
Yeah.
and like all
That's
that
how
stuff.
he does his politics. and-
using the tactics of the mafia
Oh,
and stuff.
just like her.
Yeah. So anyway, so he's talking to a panel of people, and I'll just play the video so you can kind of get an idea.
is ridicule a man's most potent weapon, right?
Sorry,
So,
Dover.
so the name of the guy was Saul Alinsky, and it's called Rules for Radical. And
Yeah, that's
rule
the name
number
of the book.
5 was ridicule a man's most potent weapon, right? So the argument comes up, and instead of facing the argument, for example, if I say, hey, we should try out black economics. So what you'll do is you'll say, that's rooted in white supremacy. And that's a trigger word in your follower's mind. So it goes on, it says, there is no defense. So they don't defend their side. And he continues, he said, it is almost impossible to counterattack ridicule. And he's right. Also, it infuriates the opposition, who then react, which is to your advantage. And that's the situation the right is in. They're trying to battle this thing with logic. And then as soon as you come with your logic, they're like, racist,
Yep.
white supremacist,
White supremacy.
Coon. Anti-black. Okay.
Anti-black.
anti-black, yeah, homophobe, right? And that's directly from Rules for Radical by Saul Alinsky. And this is the playbook in which they take these people into meetings and they teach them this. Now, they don't show them it's from Rules for Radicals by Saul Alinsky. They just brainwash them with that type of thing, right? So for example, let's say we were to sit in one of these classes and I'm like at a BLM meeting and they'll just give them the arguments right away and say, hey, look, if somebody brings this up, this is rooted in white supremacy. They won't tell you the tactics behind doing that, but they'll just say they're going to talk about black economics. And then they'll say black economics equals white supremacy. Capitalism equals white supremacy. And then this equals racism. So the people in that meeting are writing this down like, okay, yeah, that's rooted in white supremacy. Okay, right? But the tactics aren't given to them. The people at the front of the room are given in those tactics. So coming back to your question about conversation, you can't have a conversation with these people. It's impossible. You in fact, in this book right here, Michael Malice, The New Right, he even says it's a waste of your time. So when people come in my mentions trying to argue, I just hit the block button. I don't have time. I don't have time because you're trying to argue logic with emotion.
Trying to argue logic with emotion. It never works. I've been there. I've been there. I've tried it, you know.
Yeah.
But I remembered the quote that I was thinking of while he was talking. And the quote was, we talked about it on the podcast before, is in the forward of the book, he wrote that the first radical that ever existed was Lucifer. And he rebelled against God and won his own kingdom because of it.
Yeah, no.
That's the way he viewed that.
Okay.
Like I'm paraphrasing, but it's something along those lines.
I
like,
mean,
Skewed type of
yeah.
concept,
Yeah.
right?
but in a
Like,
way, like, he didn't really rebel. He rebelled against God ultimately, but really it's about he took it away from man.
right.
You know, that was really the battle. It was
Right.
with man, not with God.
Yeah.
But he's battling with God through man.
Yeah.
And that's what's happening. So like, and it's interesting that they're saying like they're not giving them the tactics, they're putting the tactics on them. So it's like they're telling them this is what it is, and these people are so enraged with their own like, well, I don't understand, this is happening, so how do we work this out? And if you just say it's all racist, it's all
White
supremacy,
yeah.
then it's just like everything needs to be burned down.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and then, but that's their tactic.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like, yeah, exactly. That is Lucifer's tactic.
Yeah,
You know
yeah.
what I mean? That is the devil's tactic. It's to, he's enraged again. Like it literally says that in Revelation 12.
Right. I mean, think about that first move with Adam and Eve. What he did was he looked at their emotions and was like, no, God is keeping this from you because he doesn't want you to be like him. You know what I mean? You got to eat it because that's how you got to eat this because then you're going to be like God.
Get him
Yeah.
to eat it too,
Right.
girl.
And that's the thing with people who have rage, is that people with rage have not gone through the process of they have not processed loss.
Yeah.
So they don't know how to deal with why things have happened. They just want to put the blame on somebody. And whatever is more convenient is what, or maybe somebody gave them the thing to blame, you know? And that's what happens a lot. Or people want to blame God, whatever. But if you look at most people who don't believe in God, a lot of times it's because they can't see it.
Right.
Like how it makes sense because of the life they lived. And it's like, well, how could God be real if this, and this is happening? You know, there is no God.
Yeah.
And really it's like, oh, but that's because, well, the God of this world is not God. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of like that guy what's his name?
Saul Alinsky.
Saul Alinsky is not exactly off completely. You know, there's some half truths in there into what he's saying.
Right.
You know that, and if you believe it, like, even if you don't believe it, like you might not know the tactic behind it, but if somebody tells you it, yeah, that makes sense. You get what I'm saying? Like, I am atheist because it makes sense,
Right.
and that's what they do. Like, they're not. Why would they give you the tactic? Because then they can't control you, and that's what all secret societies do. That's what all communist parties do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They put the tactics on you and train you in them, but they don't empower you.
That's what that dude. What's his name? Hexley. I forget his name. The dude that trained Patrice. The two girls that started Black Lives Matter.
Yeah, I don't know their names, but
you know the dude I'm talking about that trained them.
yeah,
Like that's what he did. He put that on them, and now they're taking that into this whole movement.
yeah, and it's like ignorance begets ignorance. So like literally, I mean, they might have some knowledge, even the people who are trained, but actually they don't have. If they don't keep them ignorant, well, then there's nothing that they can even bargain with,
Right.
because that's the only way that game even works out. You know, and that's the crazy thing about God. Like he's like, I want to give you everything I have. You know, that's a total opposite thing, you know?
Yeah.
And that's why God is so good. And you see these different organizations and how they flow and how they work. They're only empowered if they keep you oppressed. Because literally they're working off of the oppression and then weaponizing that oppression.
Right. What happens if it's not there anymore?
Yeah.
You know?
There's no power.
Yeah, I talk about that all the time. Like the NAACP, like these organizations, the ACLU, the SPLC, whatever it's called, like they need there to always be racism. They need there to always, because then they don't get money anymore.
Yeah.
If it ends, so it's never going to end for them.
Yeah.
It's just like the problem that we're seeing with this COVID thing is like there's certain organizations that are never going to want this to end because they benefit from it.
They want to keep people ignorant.
Yeah.
That's why you can't watch the news, because the news is going to tell you what they're going to tell you the narrative that they want you to follow.
Right.
So you can do what they say to do. They want you to take the vaccine that they want you to take. They want you to stay in the house if they want you to stay in the house. Whatever they can do to control you to get the outcome. If just on a state level, if they get the people to stay in the house and they get the small business to close, it causes the economy to be destroyed. It causes people to look more towards the government.
Right.
Right. If people are weak.
Right. So it puts the power in their hands.
It puts the power in their hands.
Right. And all they got to do is put people in fear, and then you get stuff like this.
Stay 6 feet away from me then.
You get stuff like this. Pull this up.
Get away
Put
from
your
me.
fucking mask on.
I'm sorry. You can walk away from me right now, sir.
Look
Put
at this
your mask
guy.
on.
Get away from me,
Put it
please.
on. Does it bother anybody else that she doesn't have to wear a mask that we all do?
Just go away. Stay 6 feet away from me then.
No.
Get away from me.
No. Yeah.
Please get away from me right now.
No.
He thought they were talking to him. They were asking the lady, "Do you need me to call security?" He thought he was the right one. He's like,
Walk away from me, sir. Please get away from me.
like he's really chasing her down
Crazy.
because he wants
care?
to make
Leave me
sure.
alone.
Them pants, boy.
Stay 6 feet away from me then. Get out of here.
Hold up, this is the part that cracks me up.
Away
He's,
from me then.
he's disappointed that no one is like
Leave me alone.
joining in.
She
Stay 6 feet away from me then.
It keeps freezing right there.
You don't care.
Leave
Yeah,
me alone.
you don't care.
Stay
Stay 6 feet away from me
He
then.
wants everyone to be
But
as
see, look
outraged.
look
as
what
he
he's
is.
doing. Like what you're saying, he's outraged.
Yeah.
But see how when his temptation,
Yeah.
doesn't have any effect, he's got to go.
Right.
Because he's like,
He's like, well,
now I look like a fool, and nobody's feeding into it.
Right.
If he got somebody to feed into it, just one person,
Yeah.
now
He's got a backing.
yeah.
Real quick, Migdalia said, "Hey, what's up, Migdalia?
What's up,
Hey,
Said,
Migdalia.
hey, Warnita. Hey, Angie. Warnita.
Juanita.
wrote 100,000.
Yeah.
Is that 100,000? Yeah, I don't know what that means. What's 100,000? I guess she's agreeing 100,000.
100,000%, maybe.
Okay. Hey guys, don't forget to share the video, please. Everybody who's watching. James checked in. What's up, James? Tia, Michelle. What's up? Yeah, hit the like button too, please. Just because Facebook doesn't like us, so we need
So
to.
what, like the mask rule, but he wasn't 6 feet. Like
Because it's
he
just
was so outraged.
because this is what they rely on. They rely on people being so in fear that they force everyone else to do it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like it's the social shame aspect of it, where it's like, well, I don't want to be the one causing a problem, so I'll just comply. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
Like, and you see that happening so much where it's like, if you go somewhere and you deliberately, like, yeah, there's nothing wrong. I get it. Like, there's nothing wrong with wearing a mask. If you're in the store, wear the mask. That's the store's policy, whatever. You know what I mean? But there is a sense of like, why do you care? If you have your mask on, why are you going out of your way? Like, let the store say something to her.
Right.
Why do you got to be the one?
You're
You know what I
you're
mean?
protected.
Yeah.
This is saving you.
Yeah.
Why are you worried about it?
Yeah.
Saving
But
you.
they're ramping up the same thing with the vaccine, because I've been seeing all these articles talking about like why even after the vaccine you need to wear a mask, and why the vaccine is not going to make you could still spread the disease, you could still get it, but you won't be affected by it because you have the vaccine, so you could still spread it. It's like, so yeah, they're just going to keep this going, and even after the because the vaccine is supposed to be like, if you get vaccinated, why do you care if I'm vaccinated? You're good. You know what I mean?
Right.
But no, it's supposed to be us pressuring everybody into doing it, so that way they don't have to violate the Constitution to make us do it. They can just get us to shame each other into doing it. Or like using, your job, or using the fact that we might need to travel or fly. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and that's the social aspect of it.
Right.
That's how they work a lot of times.
Yep.
But it turns into rage when if you get a few people like that, they could be burning down the store.
Yeah.
If you get enough, and like say somebody there,
And in some of these towns, that's what they do. That's what they do. If they find out, like, these Antifa people, if they find out that, like, there's a store that needs to be a target, they will make their life a living hell, and then those people will comply. It's almost like what the mafia does, like we were just talking about. It's like, okay, you think you're safe from this? No, we'll make you do what we want, bend to our will.
So what do we do if they force us? In order for you to fly, you got to get vaccinated.
I don't know, man.
I mean, I'm not taking it, so
Yeah.
we're just gonna have to not fly.
Yeah.
And whoever's gonna be mad is gonna be mad. Like,
Right.
There's levels. You have to stand your ground. You know what I mean? And what comes with it comes with it.
Yeah.
There's certain things like, if I gotta go in the store and wear a mask, I don't care.
Right.
It's not a
Yeah.
big deal. But you're not gonna get me to do something I don't want to do.
Right.
And I think that's what we have to understand. And I see a lot of people like I get that there's injustice in the world. I get all that, but your ideas, you're not going to be the one to make you can be, not to say you can't, but what I'm saying is when you think you have the idea that is going to be the game changer because you are just that great of a person, that's not how it works.
Right.
And a lot of people, they think that because why would they be acting the way they're acting? And that's a lack of trust in God,
Right.
and it's pride.
Gina said, well, guys, love listening to you as always. Please stay safe and take care. Love and miss you lots. Love you too.
We
Thank
love
you
you too.
for watching.
Love you too.
Merry Christmas.
We'll be here again next week. Merry Christmas. So let me show you this other video that's along these lines.
When is Christmas?
It's 10 days away, so whatever that equals.
It's Friday.
It's Friday.
10 days away.
I haven't even slacking.
So,
all right, let's watch this.
We just got kicked off the flight because our 2-year-old would not put on a mask, and we tried. I mean, I'm gonna put a video on. And they're sending all of our bags and Adeline's car seat to New York. And we're banned off of United forever because a 2-year-old would not put on a mask.
Mas Musa udah tahu satu nih, oke? Oke, Musa itu ada nih. Ada mana? Musa itu ada nih. Oke? Oke, aku lihat mana sih kan? Kau apa ini?
So they're all on the plane, which is like everyone's jammed in there. We're allowed to be on the plane, but
yeah.
Adeline, saya ke nih.
Musa itu ada nih.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we're almost ready to go. So please put away your carry-on items, including your large electronic devices like laptops. Feel free to keep using it.
I'm gonna have to ask you to grab the belongings and that's good. But you gotta be getting it. No, sir. Why? We're over here holding this mask on her face. I'm sorry, sir. I did make it up to you. I took that opportunity and I ran with it. You see this? I'm literally covering her face.
He's literally like forcing his child. He's muzzling, like he's like smothering his child with a cloth, and it's not good enough.
This is compliance. I'm literally holding it over my daughter's face. This is compliance right here.
We can't force her. She's literally holding it and she's crying.
You're gonna do this to us?
The fact that no one else like
was like, it's fine, I don't care.
Or no one's like, come on, man, stop. Like, why are you doing that? Come on, man. Like, everyone's quiet. Like, don't kick me off. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is what this is what I'm talking about. That's what they bank on.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that nobody wants to be them, so they will just do what they're told. You know.
Wow.
Yeah. But that was like going around Twitter for a while. So
yeah, that's a shame, and they got banned off of not just the flight, but from the airline.
Yeah, they got banned from American.
It makes no sense,
and it makes them look like jerks.
Like
company look like jerks. It's a 2-year-old.
Halima said, "I applaud all of you. Thank you very much. We're trying to be honest about stuff." Yeah, that's a crazy video, man. I saw that and like. Like, what are you supposed to do in that situation?
See him, holding over her face. Like, to me, that's like, what? That's fine. Like, what else do you really want from us?
Right.
And
in the world before, I'm sorry to cut you off. In the world before COVID, they would be shaming him for doing shit like that.
They would say that's child abuse. For like trying to hold a rag over a cloth over your child's face.
Her.
What are you doing? She can't breathe. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Come on, man. It's a 2-year-old.
Spanking's not allowed.
Yeah. Yeah, someone someone made a point on Twitter the other day, which was kind of made me think. It was like he was walking the dog with his kid, and he's like, "I got to put a mask on my kid, but my dog doesn't need a like." You know what I mean? Like if I put a mask on my dog, the animal rights people would come put me in jail, but I can put a mask on my kid. You know what I mean? That's what the tweet was.
Okay.
It was like, if I put a mask on my dog, they would throw me in jail, but I can put a mask on my kid. Like
topsy-turvy world.
Yeah. It's crazy, man.
And that's what we're seeing is a lot of people trying to logically figure things out. And I think that's the problem. That, not to say we don't need logic, but what I'm saying is that your logic isn't going to figure it out.
No.
There's a greater logic, and that's why we have to trust in God.
But that's why they make it an emotional situation. They make it so every story I see, every other story I see on Twitter is like, how many ways to die from COVID, the lingering effects from COVID. This is the number of deaths from COVID.
Yeah.
The record number of cases yesterday and record number of deaths is like, that's all you're seeing. So it's putting people in a state of emotion where they want everyone to be like, why aren't you taking this serious? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. And I get notifications of news, and I know like even because stuff can affect you and you don't even realize it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so when I see something, like a lot of times if I just see it even says something about COVID, I just swipe it up. Like I don't even want to look at it.
Right.
Because I don't even want that in me.
Right.
You know what I mean? I don't want even the
thought of it
have to even
taking root.
See it and then get pissed off about it because it's annoying.
Right.
You know, like just I don't even want to deal with it because then in my mind I'm not like fighting a battle that I don't even want to fight sometimes.
Right.
A battle that's not even there yet. Really. Yeah.
Avoid the battle.
Yeah.
Avoid the fight.
It's crazy.
But yeah, I think I wanted to show this video.
Okay.
Just to kind of show, like, for people who think, you know, like we were talking about atheist or why would God do these things? Why would God
allow this
to happen or allow like kids to get molested. You know, people always say stuff like that. Or on the other end, you have very religious people who are like, God is in control. This is judgment. This is the judgment of God. You know what I mean? Like COVID is the judgment of God. Like that end too. Like you can go either way. So I wanted to kind of show this video to show like it's not about any of that. It's actually just like people who want the best for you. They want the best for you, but you make your own choices in your life.
Yeah.
And a loving person isn't going to push. Like a real loving relationship won't force you to do anything.
Yeah.
They'll love you, and you have to make that commitment to them to love them in the same way.
Right.
That's the way God is with us, and we have to recognize that. So I thought this video, I just took a clip of it, and I thought it was kind of cool how he explained it.
Real quick before we play it, James with a comment. What's up, James? He said, create fear, then get the public to police each other. Yep, that's been the tactic. Raven Moore just checked in. What's up?
Sounds like principalities, right? False principles creeping in.
God is not in charge. Paul clearly says in Ephesians
So he
that
said
the
God
of
is
this
not in
world is
charge.
a small
Right.
g.
Right.
And that you were once part of him. And you could not resist him. But now you've been transferred over into the kingdom of light. Now you can resist him. Okay, if it was God's will, then why did Jesus tell the guys, "Okay, can you just pray with me an hour?" So that you can get through this time of temptation that's come upon you.
Isn't that
And
profound?
they fell asleep.
Yeah.
And guess what happened? They fell into temptation. They bailed on him. Did you know that it was God's will for them to all get arrested with him? I could tell you some things that just blow you away. You see, Jesus was trying to prevent them from missing God. Peter couldn't have denied him if he was in the jail cell with them. Oh boy, I can't believe I just said that, but that's the truth.
That is true.
Jesus was trying to save them from temptation. It was God's will. Why would he ask them to pray if it wasn't God's will? They did not do it. They fell asleep. And it's happened to us right now.
A lot of us fell asleep.
Now we're waking up and we're saying, "Oh, well, how did this all happen?" It's like, obviously God's not in charge. But he's asking us to pray.
And I think that's the key. Like, what is prayer really?
Yeah.
You know, prayer really is about pushing back the darkness.
Mhm.
Prayer really is about taking back territory that was stolen from us and thinking that it was our fault.
Mhm.
You know, and I mean, it kind of is, but the funny part
There's certain
is,
things that you give up, a lot of things that you give up, and a lot of land that you concede along the way. But your adversary is so much greater than you don't know anything. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Like
Right.
you're kind of lost.
You're being
until
tricked.
you're not.
You're being tricked.
right. And the point is, even what you give up is all given back because it was already accounted for.
Mhm.
Like when God died, he paid the cost. He counted the cost.
Right.
And when we're in pride, like we were talking about this earlier, we don't count the cost. We just do something and go and try to get something. And then when we realize, oh, we just got put to shame.
We gotta walk
then
away in the store. You
Yeah,
don't care?
Right, right.
We
You gotta
lose.
walk away mad.
And that's the problem
And
with
then
rage.
he goes and tells that story when he gets home. Do you believe
Yeah.
this lady wouldn't put a mask on?
But
because he needs to get that affirmation from someone.
But that's the debate between people.
Mhm.
You know, that's the confrontation between people. Like, no, there's racism in this world.
Yeah.
No, there's not. You know, or there's racism. Well, it's not that bad.
Right.
You know, like both ends, and it's like, okay, but what's the solution?
Mhm.
It's in him. Let's pray, or let's find our own solution. We need to do this, this, and this.
Right.
But eventually, that's going to go against you. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it sounds good for a
Right,
little bit.
right.
You might make all these decisions, but I want to rather do nothing and pray
Right.
so that I can actually grasp the thing. That's like, that's going back to what I said earlier about me acting like I know the key I'm in and can hear all the notes when really I don't, and I'm
Right.
trying to hide.
You're fishing.
I'm
which is
fishing,
what
and
Dad
somebody
used to
who
say.
really knows.
My dad used to get us
you're-
with that. You're fishing.
You're fishing. You're trying to, yeah.
You don't know what you're doing. Like,
Right.
you know, you're pretending like you know, but you're really
you don't.
you're just casting that line out there, like
Hoping
know.
you get a bite.
Yeah.
And the thing is, you can fish, and you can do it when other people don't know.
Yeah.
But when the light comes, there's no hiding anymore.
Yeah, right.
And that's the thing. We have to have the light. But in order for us to have the light, we got to be vulnerable and actually not hide.
Right.
You know, and then the darkness, and that's what God does.
But that's the funny dynamic of it. Is like once you're vulnerable and not hiding, you don't allow the darkness anywhere to exist.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
But it's going to try to hit you. It's
Right.
going to. So that's what Jesus was saying. Like, pray to the disciples so that you don't fall into temptation.
Yeah.
And temptation is transgression,
Mhm.
and that means you transgress against the law. So now the enemy has a way to accuse you, right? But the funny thing is, you can't be accused, and he can't steal from you if you have faith and trust in him in prayer. That doesn't mean you know everything. That means you have everything in you, but it's gotta be unveiled or opened up.
Right.
So he's there, all of him, the fullness of him is there. The fullness of every answer, every solution is there, but you gotta go deep into the darkness to find it. And that's what people are afraid of.
Right.
And that's what prayer is about. So this whole fake prayer thing, like, oh, well, let's pray that this doesn't happen. Like, that's not how you
Right,
pray.
right.
We pray in
And
expectation.
James, I know James is watching right now. He always talks about like this whole idea of like we're gonna pray someone into office. Like, you know, it's been used in that way to make people. It's the same way like people have been lulled. A lot of people that would not concede a lot of ground to the government by having someone like Donald Trump in office. It allowed them to be lulled into a place where they're like, okay, we can concede that ground because he's gonna be the one.
He's gonna do everything.
He's gonna do it.
Right.
Let him do it. He's the
Right.
guy. You know
Right.
what I mean? And
he's like a messiah.
right. So all they did was now allow the tactics of the enemy to work on them, and they didn't even realize it.
Yeah. We give up ground.
Right.
Like you know, we give it up.
Mhm.
And so what are we doing? We're falling asleep at the wheel.
We're falling asleep. We're
We're
falling into temptation.
Yeah, we're falling asleep.
We're falling asleep.
And that's the thing about the number 7, like perfection. That's why you got to come into the day of rest, and that's crazy. Like you'll fall asleep at the wrong time when you can actually sleep in the time of rest with him. And that's the time of dreams where you'll actually start to be cultivated. So here's an interesting thing. The menorah tree, which has 7 lights, we're talking about 7.
This is Hanukkah.
The Hanukkah.
Right.
And it's the number 7, 7 lights, 7 spirits of God, this Holy Spirit, right? The menorah tree is actually the almond tree because it has almond buds on it, literal almond buds.
Right.
The almond tree is called the waker tree.
Right.
So,
which is why we put it on the Higher Love cover that Moan made. So
Right.
let me pull that up. We keep talking.
So the almond tree is the waker tree. So this is what happened. It's actually on the Mount of Olives where Jesus was praying and they fell asleep, which is interesting, right?
Yeah.
There weren't just olive trees, there were almond trees too. And the almond trees, when the almond trees budded, they knew it was time that the waker tree, because it was the first tree that woke up, they knew when it budded that it was time to cultivate or cut back or disciple, right? So the olive trees could produce more fruit. So you can't produce fruit unless you're in that. And in that time, what are the olive trees? They're in a state of dormant. See, they're dormant, right? So they're actually sleeping. But it's the almond tree that shows the time when you can cultivate and cut back the branches that won't produce fruit so that they can produce more fruit. Right? So, and then when they wake up, they start to bud, they start to blossom, you're going to produce more fruit. So the point is, if you don't know the time and you don't wake up and you don't know when to stay awake and you don't know when to come into rest and stop trying to do it yourself and allow God to do it and pray and enter into that thing, right? That's why we pray. We pray to enter into that time of rest. We'll never see it, and then we'll never produce that fruit. So then we just doing it ourselves. So what's the point? You know, we're just creating a false reality for ourselves and saying, oh, look, this worked, so that means something. And that's just that's just pride, you know, and eventually it's going to fall down. It might work for us for a little bit, but eventually it'll fall down. But God wants to create in us something that never falls down. You know, it never breaks down, and it stands the test of time. What are you trying to find?
I was trying to find a higher love cover. I can't find it.
I just sent it to you.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Text.
There it is.
Damn. Why does it look like
Why is it doubled?
Why is it doubled on the stream? There we go.
There we go. So yeah, we put this tree on there for what? Because it represents the Waker tree.
Well, the first lyric is natural
awakening,
lifting me up, speaking to the piece of me that's been on the run.
And then, so when you look at that, if you're on the run, you're never gonna overcome.
And almond trees are beautiful, man. Like I never knew
when
that.
they bud.
Yeah,
they're so beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But no, that's interesting, man.
Yeah, man. So prayer is a thing that is so important, and a lot of people don't do it as much as we don't do it as much as we should. And I think it's something that God is humbling us. I know I could pray more, and this is the most I've ever prayed.
Yeah.
But what prayer does is it sets us up in position to receive.
Mm-hmm.
And we pray for others. We can pray for the country, because you do pray for a president to be elected, but not for my desire to be elected. It's for God's will, right? So God knows who He wants. But if you look at this, election.
Yeah,
they're trying to steal the election, and that's not conspiracy. That's a fact.
Right?
They're trying to steal it. The media is trying to
Facebook is going to
suppress it.
completely just. We're going to get that. We're going to smash. We're going to get that disclaimer. You know, dude. I that's another thing on Twitter is like every post. There was one post. I think the president posted something about soldiers, had nothing to do with the election, and they hit it with election analysts have disputed this, because they just anything he posts, they're just like
nope.
Yeah. And all that stuff. How like to see you see something like that, and you're like, how do we come against that? Like it's true. We can't just expose stuff. Like it's almost like you can't just complain about it. Right? You got to be about it, right? But the thing is, like, I don't know how to be about it. Yeah. And that's honest.
What do you do?
Like,
You can't
what do
do
you
nothing.
do? So I don't just complain. I pray, because the solution is in Him. And then I got to be patient and continue. Doesn't mean that I pray one time and stuff is just going to magically just open up to me. No, it's the consistency in it that eventually it comes. And little by little, we see more of it. And that's the point. And it creates in us, we start to be familiar with the one who has all the answers. We start to be familiar with Him, right? Now you know how He moves and how He works. You start to know His song. And if you know somebody's song, now you can harmonize with them, right? That's what we do. We harmonize. So now we can sing with them. Like she's coming around us more. She's starting to know our music.
Yeah.
She's starting to hear some of our songs and harmonize on some of our songs, because she's been around us.
Sometimes, like even the past couple of sessions, like everything you just said makes me think of like, sometimes I can't do everything. I can't play and listen at the same time.
Right.
So sometimes I have to put the cello down and then I just listen. You know what I'm saying? But like in devoting full attention to listening, I'm like walking away from the situation like, oh, okay, I know that song much better.
Right.
I know where their voices fall. Couldn't tell them apart before because that blend is nice. Now I'm getting much better. You know what I'm saying? Like I know where everyone is. Like that's important to not be trying to talk while you're listening at the same time.
Juanita said, happy holidays to you all. Happy birthday to Moon. And may God lay upon you rest and blessings. Thank you.
Thank you.
Same to you. Happy holidays. Merry Christmas. Happy Hanukkah.
And that's the, like,
Doritos is gone.
even in terms of like talking sometimes, like I know for me, I've learned to be vulnerable in my conversation and in my talking, where I'm kind of talking about stuff where I'm just like hearing it,
right,
like listening at the same time, like because what you're saying, like you said you can't talk and listen, but you kind of can, but you can't talk and listen if you think you got to figure it out.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
So, but if you are in the flow of a thing, and it's kind of like harmony, like I might not know where you're going, but I can follow you to where it seems like I know where you're going.
Right.
If you really know how to harmonize, you know what I mean? You can be just a little bit behind somebody, but not enough for people to tell.
Right.
You know, and I think that's what we have to learn with God, is that like we can speak what his heart is and flow with him in the moment. We just gotta be vulnerable to do it. Because if I'm scared, I'm not gonna do it.
Yeah.
And even sometimes I know for me, like if I'm talking and I start getting in my head and questioning something, it stops. It stops the flow.
Up. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's key. That's key with people, you know, prophesying. And that's what this podcast is about. It's the Young Lion podcast. It's about roaring. It's about prophesying. It's not about, we're not saying that we are in the office of prophets, you know.
Right.
Although that could be a thing. But what I'm saying is,
I got a note in here called Jake's Bars, and I just keep adding to it. And it's like a joke, but at the same time, it's also all these gems.
I don't even.
Office of Prophets is going in there.
Office of Prophets. We're not saying that we're in the Office of Prophets.
Yeah, but to prophesy is to speak the testimony of Jesus. So I'm prophesying to our futures, to my future, to your future, as I'm speaking what I'm seeing in him that we can become. See, that's our perfection, right? So I'm speaking to that. I'm in the moment. I'm in the flow of that. That's prophecy. So even when we're singing songs, we're singing from the spirit of prophecy, where we're testifying the testimony of Jesus. Sometimes it's from his perspective. Sometimes it's how we see him. Sometimes it's how he sees us, and we're speaking that through ourselves. Or sometimes it's how we see him and we're speaking that. You know what I mean? Like there's different perspectives, but bottom line is, it's all about him.
Right.
You know, it's all about him. It's not about us. You know, it's not about what we think. It's about what he's shown us that we can speak and articulate, which sometimes ain't that easy.
Yeah.
It's hard to put into words, you know. But it all comes from prayer, seeking, searching him out. There's a scripture, there's a proverb. I don't know if y'all can look this up, but I know there's a beginning to it, but it's I can't think of it right now exactly, but it has to do with kings searching a matter out. Like it's the responsibility of kings to search a matter out. I'm not saying it exactly how it's supposed to be, but
paraphrase, yeah.
But
It is the glory of God to conceal a matter, to search out a matter is the glory of kings.
There you go. That's it.
Boom.
So it's
Proverbs 25:2.
So God literally, like, God doesn't test us. He allows us to go through testing. God doesn't tempt us. It's the same thing, right? God doesn't tempt us. He allows us to go through the tempting, right? So, but he wants us to not fall for the tempting, right? So that's literally the darkness. Every time that's the kingdom of darkness. So he'll conceal a thing behind the enemy. And he's like, how do you get past this enemy? You know what I mean? It's in me.
Right.
You can't get past him in yourself. So how do you search out a matter? In him. And in him, that's where the glory comes, right? So then you'll start to see it, but you can't do it yourself.
Right.
And so a true king takes ground. The whole purpose of a king is to take that ground, is to take that territory and to rule.
Right.
Right. So you can't be a true king if you're not going deep in him and searching a matter out. Like, you can hear, a verse in the Bible and it says something and somebody says, yeah, it means this. And it could mean that, but it could mean this and this and this and this and this and this, because there's deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper. And that happens to me like probably every day. Like, he'll take one verse, sometimes even one word, and just show it to me in a different way. Show it to me.
Because it's
show it
so
to me in a different way.
multidimensional.
It's so multidimensional. And if you settle it, it's over.
Right.
But if you are always open,
right,
what are you trying to say? Like, then it opens up more and more and more and more. And so it's the glory of kings to search a matter out, but it's the glory of God to conceal a thing, and that's so profound. You know what I mean? So just because we can't understand it, look at how our fleshly, this worldly desire as well. The enemy, the temptation is to make you feel ashamed of that, and then make you feel like you need an answer right then and there. You know what I mean? Yeah. But really, it's like, you don't have to say anything. And that's my point. Like, what Hotep Jesus was saying is the truth. Like, why would you have a conversation with, because it's not, first of all, it's not a conversation, but why would you get into a debate with somebody who's not hearing it, who's not listening to you?
You're just being drawn into a fight.
You're just being drawn into a fight, and you're being drawn into a territory by yourself without God. So you're not going to win.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I mean? You're just going to walk away in shame.
Right.
Like that other
You're going to
dude.
be that guy. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's not fun.
Go ahead.
What?
Read the comment.
Oh, Halima says, I love your music.
Thank you, Halima.
Cool.
Halima.
All right. Well, we got started late, but it's 9:53. You want to wrap it up and do a song?
Yeah, since we're talking about, she just said she loves our music.
Yeah,
so let's do a
and
song.
you was talking about all this like opening up and all the open and openness. So I figured, why don't we do a little bit of the song that we was messing around with? Steve just laid down the brand new song we got. It's called Open.
All right.
We got a little bit of it here, and I'll play along with it.
It's definitely new, so
it's new and loose.
So
First time.
you know how we were talking about practicing a thing and being perfected? Well, that's the place we're in right now, trying to perfect it.
Yeah. So you're literally witnessing a practice right now. Okay.
But it's good to be vulnerable.
That's right.
Yes.
It's good to be open.
Yes.
All right. Let's make sure we got.
Are you
Tiffany
gonna play
said,
the piano?
Yay,
with
I
it?
love your singing.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So unmute everything.
Yeah.
Okay, that's not the song. Where's that coming from? That's a different song. Oh, there it is.
Go stream Higher Love
Go stream Higher Love.
by James Evans.
Let me know when to come in.
Laptop is the last one.
It's open. You don't have to wait to come in. You don't have to wait another second. It's open. Yeah. I'm open. My deepest request is your presence. Are you hesitant? Please don't question it. Are you open? All I ever wanted was you. Every breath I breathed was to draw you back into surrender with me, so you could conceive how I fought for you.
So come open to me. I know this life don't make it easy, but I measured every single outcome carefully, so it would be open. Yeah. It's all open. Yeah. I'm so open. Yeah. Oh. Yeah. All I ever wanted was you. Every breath I breathe was to draw you, so you can conceive how I fought for you. Whoa, yeah. So come on, yeah, yeah. Come on in, yeah. Oh, come on, yeah. Come on, yeah. Come on in, yeah, yeah. Oh, it's breaking, 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 breaking open, breaking open. It's breaking, 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 breaking open, breaking open. It's open. You don't have to wait to come in. It's open. You don't have to wait to come in. Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's open. You don't have to wait to come in. It's open. You don't have to wait to come.
A little confusing.
All right.
All right.
So, that was
Thank
fun.
you, Shaniqua.
Shaniqua said, beautiful song, guys. It's nice to hear you guys live again. We can't wait to be live again. Yeah, that's brand new music. We got a lot of really good new songs that we're excited about. We've been working on them at rehearsal, writing, and getting some studio stuff going. So it's going to be nice to have some new music to show everybody. And this music is like, I really feel it. Like,
Yeah.
it's definitely on some other stuff. But we appreciate everybody for watching. It's 10 o'clock. We're going to wrap it up. Listen, I had a good time. It was a good conversation. Turned out to be a good one.
Yeah.
Thanks, Rachel, for sitting in again, doing your thing. John, you did a great job over there as usual. I'll see you guys next week. But before we get out of here, remember, share this video, please. Let people know that you know, this is a good conversation to listen to, and, you know, you can learn something. Also, if you want to hear our music that we put out already, you can go to Jatan.com. All of our stuff is up on there, and it's streaming on all platforms. Also, if you want to support, if this is something that you think you want to donate to or support or get behind, again, all of our shows are canceled. We don't have any, you know, in the foreseeable future, we don't have really any gigs. Like, everything is shut down. So there's no way for people to hear our music aside from this right now. So if you want to support that, if you want to get behind something that you think has value, you can go to our Patreon and you can become a member there. You can donate to...
Maybe we should just do some live streams where we're just
performing. I think we should. I think we should. We could set that up. Maybe we'd do that if, you know, if we get enough people on Patreon, we could do like a live Patreon performance for people, you know. But yeah, patreon.com/Young Lion TV. You can go there. You can become a member. If you become a member, you subscribe, and then like you basically donate. It's a consistent donation that just helps the cause, and you know, we're gonna give you guys some perks for that stuff. But also, you can just donate whatever you want if you want to just you know, help this out. We do this every single week, no matter what, unless something happens. But we've been consistent. This is episode number 87. You know, we're slowly approaching 100 episodes, which is crazy. Like, when we first started this, it was like we were just flying by the seat of our pants, you know. But little by little, we've been getting more equipment. We've been getting better at what we're doing. You know, John helped us out a lot. So, you know, it would be nice.
Thank you to the behind the scenes with John and Rachel.
And that's the thing. Like, if we can get people to support this, we would like to start paying people. You know what I mean? That would be nice.
John's like, yes.
Paying people for the work they do and the time that they dedicate to this. And, you know, we've invested a lot in this. And but we appreciate the people that watch every week. We really love you guys. We thank you for, you know, being dedicated and always chiming in and commenting and stuff like that. So just make sure that you come back again next week. We'll be here at 8 p.m. on Tuesday evening. Other than that, anybody else got anything to say before we get out of here?
No. We love you. You know, God is there, even though he might seem not like he's not, even though it might seem like he's not. He's there, and, you know, we're praying for you.
That's right. Okay. You heard it. All right. We'll see you guys next week. We out of here.
Young Lion, go live, yeah. Young Lion, you rich, yeah. This kingdom has room, yeah. Go and fight people.